Again, this engine is already out of the car. We felt like for recording purposes, this was gonna give us the best look for you guys to understand what you're dealing with. Yo, what's up guys? We are back here in the Parker Performance Laboratory again today. And today we're gonna introduce you to our Stage 2 E85 package from Nostrum. In this instance, we're gonna be doing a high pressure fuel pump. We're also gonna be doing the DI injectors. And we are gonna be doing this for Ricky's Ratchet. If you guys are familiar with Ratchet, you've been watching us a long time, you know that we've been having some ups and downs with it. And Nostrum is gonna get us right as the EMS Babubu is back fresh from Tennessee. And we are gonna be getting these installed here today and just kind of giving you guys an overview of what to expect if you're gonna do the Stage 2 E85 package with the HPFP and the injectors. So for starters, this is kind of what you're going to be dealing with. We have the benefit of having the ability to show you this off the car because Ricky's motor is out. So we figured we would go ahead and do that so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like before diving in and tackling it on your own vehicle. Every injector setup is going to have the fuel rail is going to be covered with a, I guess it would be like a sound slash fire protectant, right? Then behind there, you've got your fuel rail with your injectors, and you've got the rail's gonna have the feed line coming from your high pressure fuel pump, and then it's also got an electrical connection on the front. This is essentially what we're gonna be working with here. And to get started, we're gonna go ahead and pop open the Nostrum boxes. We got a box from them with the injectors in it, and we got a box from them with a pump in it. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Just for B-roll.
Yep. Oh. Okay. No shit. Oof. Oof. I'm gonna have to change my shirt for this video. Hold up, boys. Hold up. BRB.
Oh, I'm still recording. Fuck yeah. I am still recording.
Right? Right? Just can't stop. Just looking for all kinds of packing material. Got all kinds of it right there, boys. Look at that cup. Beautiful. I think someone's still on the top car. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's peek here. We're going to leave our pump bag. Because as we know, with speaking with previous vendors, any amount of dust is a bad amount of dust. So we're gonna leave that bag uncovered. All right. Okay, so we've got everything unboxed from the boys over at Nostrum. In this instance, we sent Ricardo's original Nostrum fuel pump in for servicing because we were getting a new motor, we're getting the new injectors, we're getting a new turbo, and we just wanted to make sure I had a clean bill of health. So you're gonna get a pamphlet of information with your stuff here. First one, it's extremely important. It says, warning, this should be done by a professional. They've also included the injector flow rates, so they've got all that information for you in your box. This shows that they've tested it. In Ricky's instance, they've tested his pump as well, and the pump performed flawlessly. It states the GDI pump performs as expected with no issues found. So we're gonna be able to move forward with that. And then it does come with a full color instructions manual specific for the Mustang 2.3 EcoBoost. everything, full breakdown. I mean, like I said, we're kind of cheating the system here today because we've already got the motor out of the car. But again, this shows you the full breakdown on what to expect, on how to handle the installation. So we're just gonna do an overview here. This also includes the RS because it's very similar, obviously, in product, and the installation is slightly different. So, Nostrum, shout out for the full color page manual here. When we do the blog post for you guys, we're gonna include the Ford service manual, link to a PDF or something that you could download that has everything similar to this, but from Ford. So that way you can kind of see what Ford recommends as well. So for us, that's the unboxing of the Nostrum goodies, right? Again, our intention here is to keep these bagged and packaged because we don't want any debris getting into them until we're ready to install them. Okay guys, so with a little bit of movie magic, we have reverted Ricky's injector setup here back to stock. Again, this engine is already out of the car. We felt like for recording purposes, this was gonna give us the best look for you guys to understand what you're dealing with. So, in the car, when you're starting, obviously there's all kinds of stuff still hooked up here. You've got your coolant lines, you've got your intake manifold, you've got your PCV, all kinds of stuff still hooked up. But, again, the intention here is to show you with good look, close up, that you can kind of see when we're working, because obviously you're gonna be working on this probably in the car in most instances, unless you too have upgraded to a built motor. So this would be the step. Once you finally got your intake manifold removed from the vehicle, this is what you're gonna be dealing with. You're gonna be looking here. Like I said, you're gonna have some coolant lines and such. They're gonna come out here. But we've gone ahead and hooked up the wiring harness so you can kind of at least get an idea. You're gonna have your knock sensors here. You're gonna have your injector wiring harness here. You're gonna have your cover that we showed you earlier on the table there. And then behind that is gonna be your rail and your injectors. So simple enough, you're gonna wanna pull your cover off. It's gonna have a little lip that kind of goes back there behind that connection where your injector harness is connected to the rail. So you've got a little spot there, and that's just a little cutout there that slides over that. So you'll pull that away, and then you can pull the whole cover off. Once you've done that, it's gonna expose your 5 bolts here that are holding your rail to the motor. And then of course, obviously the 4 spots for your injectors. Now, in this instance, we don't have the feed line coming from the high pressure fuel pump into the back of the rail. Big deal, you're gonna have a 17 millimeter there that you have to undo that we're not covering. But the main thing here is that we wanna show you the things that you're gonna be faced with. So you've got 10 millimeters here that hold the rail into place. You've got obviously your injector harness that has to come off. And then once you remove that, you've got to get all the injectors removed and then the new injectors installed. So for the main plug here coming in to your sensor, it's just this little yellow clip right there. And it's most like any other Ford clip where you have like a tab that holds the clip in place from being, it locks it. So once you remove that tab, it now unlocks that clip so that you can push down on the armature and get it to pull out. And this one is a triangulated plug. It's the only one of its kind, so you don't really have to worry about getting it mixed up or confused. But you're gonna dismiss that one there, then you're going to dismiss this one here, which is the end. Again, same thing, it's the only one of its kind here. And then you've got your 4 injectors across here. Now, kind of hard to get your fingers back in there a little bit, but I promise you can get it. And they're just a single depress, right? Like a single depression. You just click one down, and as soon as you do, pull them out. One press, pull it out. One press, pull it out. And that is your entire harness. So you can dangle that to the side until you're ready to reinstall. And then from here, it's really simple. You're gonna remove your 5 bolts here to get the fuel rail out, and we'll go ahead and do that now. So realistically, the only thing you need to tend to that is a trim removal tool and a 10 millimeter. And again, we're doing this on a fresh motor. There's no fuel in here, but in a full install, you're gonna wanna make sure you've released the pressure, you've deleted the pressure from the rail, so that way the fuel doesn't go everywhere, which we'll cover obviously in the step-by-step instructions. But for this, you're just gonna get your harness pulled off of the rail, loosen your 10 mils. Now, according to Ford, these are a one-time use bolt. They should be replaced. I don't know how much I believe in that in this scenario, but if you want to buy them, we can supply. Okay, so in this instance, with the movie magic, right, we were able to get all the injectors to stay behind in the motor and remove the rail. this may or may not be accurate for your installation. You may get a couple of them that stick in the rail when you remove the rail. You may get all of them stuck in the block. You may get all of them stuck in the rail. For the rail installation procedure, there's a specific sequence of tightening that you need to follow, and the reason is because of these clips that are used on the injectors and the way that the rail kind of comes down and puts those clips into play. So that is going to be part of the reason why they're either stuck into the rail or stuck into the block. But yeah, so now we're going to work on getting this off. And if you follow Ford's procedure, they have a slide hammer. We don't have that. So for us, we typically just kind of manipulate the injector a little bit, nice and soft, and give it a good plunge pull. Comes right out. So it's not something that, again, this is movie magic. We're doing this on a fresh block. It's had no carbon buildup. It's had no fuel through it. It's had no oil, no dirt, no sand, no grime. So we're kind of cheating the system here, and I apologize for that. But again, I wanted to show you the components cleanly, accessible, good access to video so you can kind of know what you're dealing with. But essentially the procedure is going to be the same. You're just going to give it a nice little wiggle, you know, a good little wiggle, and you should be able to pull them out. Good little wiggle, and they should come right out. Okay, so, and that's it. Again, you could have 100,000 miles in this car. It could have a ton of fucking gunk and shit in all the places, right? And it could fight you for an hour to get those out. But again, movie magic, we're cheating the system, so we can show you the components and how they go about. So just remove these, make sure you have your clips and your rail, and transfer your work over to the table. Okay, so with your workstation transferred back over to the workbench, what your focus here is to get your clips separated from your injector. We do offer both the bolts and the clips as an add-on if you do want to do the, you know, follow the procedure to the T. According to Ford, you replace the clips as a one-time use, you replace the fuel rail bolts as a one-time use. So we do offer that. I will say that we've done it without many times. And we've also replaced them many times. It's just kind of dependent upon the customer and what your, I guess what your risk aversion is. So in this instance, again, kind of a little bit of movie magic, so we're kind of cheating the system because there's not been a ton of debris and such. We've already had these cleaned. But your main focus here is to separate the clip from the injector body. And you're just gonna be working to pop it in the upwards direction because they just snap on coming like so. So in the event that this is full of gunk and it's full of dirt and it's full of oil and whatever, this may fight you quite a bit. But again, same idea, you're just gonna get it some wiggles, even if you gotta spray a little bit of Freol or WD-40 or silicone in there, just a little dab will do you. And then even in the event that you have to use a really small, fine, something like this, if you have to use a really small, fine screwdriver, again, your intention is to not create any damage to the body of the injector and simply to get your clip off of the injector. As you can see, we've already done the other units. At this time, you're gonna start removing your caps, and you gotta want to make sure that this is like a, okay, I'm ready to do the work, right? This isn't something where you're gonna pause and hang out and, you know, smoke a cigarette and eat a slice of pizza. Because again, the minute that you pull these covers off, they're open and susceptible to debris. And so we wanna move quickly. We wanna pull the covers off, get them in the rail, get the rail in the block. Your Nostrum injectors are gonna come individually serialized. They're each gonna have a serial number on them. They're each gonna have the Nostrum logo on them. And this information can all be referenced in the pamphlet and the paperwork that they provided you when you purchase your injectors. That way, in the event that there is a failure, they've got the testing on their end, and obviously you've got your paperwork on your end, that you can say, hey, serial number 1234 is the one that's giving me issues. Sorry, we are running a business, there's phone calls. But yeah, so that way you can go through, and in the event that you have a failure, they can literally go down to the single injector, they can look at the testing from that data, from that injector, and replace that injector for you. But so we're gonna go ahead and work on getting our clips onto the injectors. We're gonna pull the caps, we're gonna get them in the rail, and we're gonna transfer the rail over to the car. Okay, and with the orientation of the clips, when you're putting your new clips on, it's the same way the old ones came off. Again, you're gonna go in through the top here, but you're just gonna clip them into place. Your circle should be on the exact 180 opposite side of your injector connection. And then your clamp arms, if you will, your clip arms should be facing up because they're gonna be the ones that are gonna go up in towards the fuel rail. Okay. So now with all of our clips transferred over, We're gonna go ahead and pull the tops because we are gonna place these loosely into the injector's rail. Oh, just kidding. I say that, and then the hardest part of the install is gonna be getting the red fucking caps off the goddamn injector. There we go. It was like between the rubber and rubber, like it was like, now, bitch. All right, so we got that. Okay. I'm just gonna work them in. Now, on your rail, and this is part of why we did the movie magic version of this instead of doing it in the car. On your rail, you're gonna have some cutaways on the back side of your rail, and that's where this piece of your injector, that is a anti-rotation clip, and so when you slide this into the rail, you want that anti-rotation device to be actually within those grooves. Okay, so again here we're going to take and fancy up our anti-rotation device and make sure that that goes into its position. Okay, anti-rotation device into its position. Now you might say, what happens if I don't do that? Well, I don't know, because I've not fucked that up before. But what I would expect to happen is you would break your injector. And so we want to avoid that at all costs. So you want to make sure that you have your anti-rotation devices all aligned well into the grooves, because when we go into place our bolts into place, we're actually going to be squeezing these injectors into the rail and utilizing the clip's power at that time. So you need to make sure that this is correct before you hang it onto the engine. So now once you've got that ready, you're ready to remove the bottom boot covers and transfer this to your engine. Again, in this instance, we're cheating the system. We don't need to do any cleaning. We don't need to change any of the Teflon seals because they're brand new injectors. And so now with all 4 injector tips, you know, loosely placed, you're gonna kind of just give it a little squeeze, because you want to kind of get those injectors at least somewhat into the cylinder head. Okay, and now we're going to take our hardware and we're just going to loosely install it. We're not worried about torquing or our installation procedure or any of that. All we're worried about in this exact moment is making sure we get the bolts started and making sure that our injectors aren't going to fall out in the rail, or the injectors fall to the ground and get dirty and all of that jazz. All right, so the hard part here, and the reason why we used the movie magic tricks here today, was to show you that anti-rotation device, because when you're working from on top, you're not going to see that. You're going to be working from this side of the vehicle looking down, and so you want to make sure you line that up before you put your injectors into the cylinder head, because again, your hardest part now is once you start tightening these, if that anti-rotation device is not in that groove, you can damage your injector. So if you want to try and dig in there, Yusuf, and go really low, you might be able to get some detail in there and show them the anti-rotation device. It's going to be like right up in here. If you can see my fingertip, where it's up in that groove. And so because of that, making sure that all those are there and in place and in the proper groove, making sure you're not going to damage anything, then you'll move forward with tightening your hardware. Okay, so in this instance, all I'm using is I'm using my Milwaukee Easy Ratchet. And we're just gonna run this down and put a little pressure on it, because from now what I need you to do is I'm gonna need you to pull up your instructions and set them here in front of you, and I want you to follow the installation torque procedure. So we'll go ahead and put that on the screen for you now, and if you don't have your instructions, you can use this video, and then that's how you're gonna actually tighten and torque sequence these bolts. And again, these are brand new from Ford, brand new clips, brand new bolts. So once we install these, your injector install is complete, and then obviously you need to make sure you meet with your tuner, get a tune file, because if you have these installed and you do not have a custom tune for it, you're gonna have a really bad day. Cool.
It's a wrap. Man, that was not as hard as I thought it was gonna be.
Well, that's why I wanted it to be more like an overview,
yeah,
as opposed to like specifically big details, and
For sure.
because also it's boring. Like, this isn't like a sexy, exciting install either. I would like to at least get some video of me torquing that to spec. So 1, 2, then let's set the angle. So 30 degrees, so 45 degrees, right? That's 90 degrees, so half would be 45, so less than 45 degrees. Right about there. One. So again,
Does it really make a difference?
yeah, because you're putting more torque on it. 4.
But and technically, if you put anything over that, it's too much.
Correct. 5. Okay. So all 5 are torqued. And now we can work on putting the rest of our stuff back together.
Yeah, we all know that's fucking EcoBoost.
Is that the tractor again?
You said, is that the tractor again? Tomato.
Tomato. Okay. Slide our. You're Gucci, Bubba. Okay. 2, 3, 4. And our main clip for our harness on the rail. That's a wrap.
Where's the? Oh, I guess you could just put this back and actually.
Yep.
That's a wrap.
Yep.
You record this as much as
So again, we're going to work on getting that little slice around our opening there. That little opening is going to rest on the main sensor. Bada boom, bada bing. And then that should clip up in place. And now all your injectors are installed, wiring harness installed, everything's back. Now when you reinstall your intake manifold, you need to reinstall your knock sensors to your intake manifold, clip these onto your coolant bypass hose, make sure your PCV is hooked up and all that good jazz, and then reassemble everything. But that is an overview on installing your DI injectors into your EcoBoost Mustang so that you can run full 85 big horsepower. If you want to see more videos like this, please make sure that you like, you comment. Obviously, you can shop for these products at www.pp-fl.com. Please, as always, continue supporting us, buy your parts from us, bring your cars to us to install them. We appreciate you guys giving us this opportunity to live out our dream. Until the next time, we'll see you guys.